everyone, this is Greyshot17
and Greyshot151 here.
and today we're doing more Collins ranking sort of kind of thing for COH2.
Infantry abilities?
Yeah, except for this time it's infantry abilities, weapons, and other Collins that are more ground-based. They don't come in from the sky, they're more helping your troops on the ground.
This is basically every ability here affects your infantry in some way, shape, or form, or the infantry is affected by this ability. Whether it's being built, whether it's boosting them, whether it's affecting other infantry, like basically everything here affects your units in some way, and you cannot just call it in. It does its own thing.
I say that, and the first thing literally on our list is a crate drop.
Yeah, but that affects your infantry. Your infantry equips the
but
infantry.
It comes from the sky.
But it affects your infantry. Therefore, it is
So, to start off this tier list, where would we put the crate?
The crate for the airborne assault,
I say is an A.
Yes, it is a great SVT rifles and PPSHs for your penals
and conscripts.
The SVT rifles for your conscripts.
Yes.
PPSHs for your penals.
Or free
amazing.
munitions.
Yeah.
45 munitions. You can literally get the munitions back if you need to.
It's just amazing.
Yeah.
I love the doctrine because of it. SVT rifles are good for conscripts because they really make them pack a punch. And you get the firepower of a penal.
Yeah.
You get the benefit of the Molotov and the AT snare, which I think is superior to the penals.
Or you can give it to another Soviet. You can literally drop those weapons to another Soviet player.
Yeah,
and that's the best part about it. It's a doctrine ability that not only affects you, but everyone on your team who is also a Soviet. Which is awesome.
And it's super cheap. It's only 45 munitions. So you can give this, and it's a great boost to your
Is there
allies
any
or your
negatives
infantry.
to this?
Yeah,
It could
grab it.
Yeah, that's the only thing.
But the problem is, even then, it's so small, and you can organize, point it, you can be pinpoint where you drop it.
Yes.
It's great.
So, would you move it up to S tier?
No.
Okay.
The one thing I will say is
it does make very powerful penals, close range. It
makes insane penals. PPSHs on them basically turn them into shock troops.
Because there's no negatives, I'm bringing it up to an S tier.
Yeah, because you use them every time, and it's basically...
One negative the enemy could grab it is not that big a deal.
But yeah, unless you're, dropping it on the front lines, or dropping it, for the enemy and you to run towards it to, wipe out, or, Survivor to, a challenge whoever gets to it first. Yeah, it's just great.
Alright, let's do something else. Let's do an anti-tank gun. This camouflages anti-guns. Makes them very slow, but it does camouflage them.
Yeah, I think actually...
It's toggle... you toggle it on and off. It doesn't require munitions to upgrade. It's just passive. I would probably give this B tier. It's fine, and it's
good. It's good. It's definitely helpful, especially when the Germans are on the attack and you need to, hide your stuff from, artillery or things.
But I don't think you're going to lug a big anti-tank gun, for Kenworth first behind enemy lines.
No, God. You mean the actual Soviet 76
It's a good initial sneak, but upon that first shot... Beyond that, it doesn't do much. It just gets you that nice first shot.
Yeah, it's a good ability, but it's not something you're craving. If I was choosing a commander, it would probably be very low on the list. It will be good to have,
yes,
but it's low on the list to actually things I want, or would desire immediately.
Yes.
And but yeah, I there's a lot of things like that. It's a cool ability, but it's not something I actually want.
Yes. Now we also have and again, from what I can tell. We also have a smoke ability, or the sprint ability. So this guy's, I believe, cover to cover. And this literally... Oh, I'm sorry. No, this is cover to cover. My apologies. This has smoke. Literally, it's the same thing. This one just says smoke on it. So this one is just sprint. This one is sprint with smoke that comes down.
I think where you put it is pretty much perfect. Because cover to cover, it's it's an ability. Oh, actually, it's kind of...
It helps you get through enemy defenses if you want to charge through without being stopped.
The smoke is what really makes it better.
Yeah.
Because America really focused on infantry play.
Yes.
I would definitely say more so than most factions. Because you have so much infantry, to get through bunkers, machine guns, which are usually what the enemy is going to use against you if you're the Americans, it is a really sought after ability. So I can understand that not being higher, and for the faction it is in, it's very high. I would say I would go for a B myself because it's good, if not great. It's like a
it's
B+.
60 munitions, so I think it's 60 munitions, so it's not too expensive. But it does help you get through. Actually, it's more, if you think about it, compared to another smoke drop ability.
I'll let you be the deciding vote, because my other main problem for this is, it's good for you, but like a lot of these things, it can help your other teammates. So this
That's
is
a fair point.
This is a very you only. So like if you're doing an entire attack for your team, this doesn't just drop on your teammates as well.
Okay.
This only drops for you.
Now, if we put this at B tier, where do we put for Mother Russia?
Oh, that's S. I mean, right?
Eat, shock troops, eat.
Listen, they have forks, they have knives, and they are going to devour every German in their way. But no, for Mother Russia is like, what if?
You were saying?
For Mother Russia is basically the control FU of COH2.
Yep.
It is the
Specifically
control FU
designed
and watch the enemy shed tears of hate
now,
because it will just. It just every infantry is boosted. All your infantry is boosted.
Yeah.
It's so impactful because they're faster, they're stronger. This is pre-nerf, by the way. This is before the nerf.
It with the nerf essentially being shot at reduces the speed. I would probably put A tier.
Yeah.
But while it is now, it's a goddamn
Even then,
S.
you activate this. You have like shock troops. Let's say you go around a corner.
Yeah.
And you activate this, and there's like 3 infantry squads. I don't care if they're almost done. They're dead. They're gone. There's nothing left of them. So it's just a fantastic like catch. If you catch the enemy off guard, it's expensive. It's 80 munitions, but it's worth it every time. Like even with conscripts with this, I've seen engineers for Mother Russia hold the line like champs. So yeah, it's an S tier all the way.
Now we also include Valiant Assault on here, and just for this thing of running, I think it would be A tier because the reason
it does have the call-in. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that is also beneficial for a team.
Yeah.
Negatives would again be the fact that while it does boost your infantry, I don't think it does into a degree like full Mother Russia.
Yeah.
Or at least
it has its own perks. For Mother Russia is for damage. This one is for supporting your infantry and recon.
Well, it's damage and speed, by God.
But it is.
Yeah.
But I think that the Russians have a more capability to use for Mother Russia.
Okay.
Especially with the doctrine that's in, compared to the British, which for the most part have less infantry squads.
Yeah.
Yes, they can deal with some DPS, but like,
all right. So
I don't know.
So let's keep the mindset with the combined arms, and let's actually go with combined arms.
Okay.
Where would you put this? This boosts infantry and armor that are in close proximity to each other.
My gut says B for the fact that the usage, I rarely see this.
Yes.
I honestly don't use. I don't see people use this that much, so I don't know. It's just a boost to vehicles.
Yeah.
And,
infantry that are close proximity to each other.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
my problem is I never see this used. Like I never see anyone on my team use this.
That's probably a negative.
I never notice any change upon like when you say for Mother Russia.
Yeah.
That's the gold standard. When someone screams, "I'm using combined," no, I've never heard someone say,
could be impactful.
"I'm using combined arms."
Yeah,
it is very much a silent, like it's like a silent.
I was gonna say a silent fart.
Yeah,
it's like
it's the silent fart. It's you notice it only when someone is drawing attention to it.
Yes,
but otherwise, no one notices it. Everyone ignores it.
C tier, I think, is fine.
Yeah.
Put down in the comments how you're such a big combined arms fan, and it should be higher.
Yeah.
So let's combine some other speed boosters, shall we?
Okay.
Let's go with another speed booster, which will be this, which is a cover-to-cover bonus for the British. It doesn't increase speed; it just boosts infantry, but you get the point. Essentially, it makes them the best cover, even in the worst cover, or like it.
Which for the British is actually a game changer because it affects their rate of fire and other buffs. So like this one is like, okay, it plays on a strength of the British. It actually is beneficial. It's more so on like I would argue that this is probably better later game than early game. Mainly because if you're going from cover to cover, either the landscape is destroyed.
Yeah,
like a lot of craters.
Well, no,
because that's how you're getting yellow covers if the ground's like torn up and stuff.
Well, not if you turn yellow to green, because essentially it's literally the moon, and there's so many craters that you would have best cover.
That's what
always.
I'm saying. It's better late game because then you have craters you can use like, or like the.
Okay,
the
I thought you
ground
said the other one, but
no. That's what I'm saying is like you need it late game because the ground's going to be torn up, so you can use the cover easier. Whereas I guess early game there is cover, but it's very standard in its placement.
Okay.
This one you can basically go anywhere if the ground is torn up and such in later games. At least in most COH2 games that I'm in, usually everything is blown apart. Maybe that's because of the stuff I use, but like usually the map is not looking good at the very end of it. Regardless, though, I would argue that this is a very good buff and that it definitely deserves to be B, if not A. Because it's universally useful. You're always gonna have cover. You're always gonna boost your infantry.
Okay.
How expensive is it?
I know combined arms is like 125. This is like 70, I think.
Which is pretty much on par.
Yeah.
I would argue that if it's...
B, I would say.
Okay.
All right, so next up, let's go into some repairability. So let's add a couple of these repair options all in a line in a row. I'm going to throw a few of these up there. We'll do them in a row, and then we'll kind of divide where each of them are.
I can already see the S tier, so...
So, unless I am mistaken, that is all the repair abilities. There's a couple more raid and capture points. We'll get to them in a moment. Those later. But I think that's all the repairs. So let's go over each of these repair functions. Conscript repairs. Conscripts can repair vehicles.
It's actually kind of helpful. I would argue it's a B. Because if you have, let's say, you're the Soviets, let's be honest, how many times do you have an ISU-152?
Yeah,
and you
but
have one engineer squad?
Here's my counterpoint.
Yeah.
Would you rather have conscripts repair and then reduce the functionality of the engineer, or would you rather have the actual vehicle repair itself for a pretty cheap price for their munitions? I think it doesn't impact the income, but overall it does repair pretty quick.
I think it's like 35 munitions for that.
It's
something like, yeah.
But the Soviets are already known for having huge munition dumps, which is why it's like, is it really that important?
My note would be it's B because the Soviets, I mean, without the S tier,
so
which we'll get to in a moment. If you are basically the Soviet, you have an ISU-152, and you have this sucker.
Yeah.
You are going to need at least 2 engineers to bring that sucker back up
My
to full
gut
health.
is put the conscript at C because it's just for, okay, it's a nice little ability boost.
I think it's good. It's not something you want. It's like, this is a cool ability.
Yeah.
I'll take it. But no, I can understand with being
Now,
C.
which one do you think is better? Smoke and vehicle repair for the British, which is 50 munitions, I think, or the normal crew repair for the German? The Soviets.
I would probably go with the vehicle repair of the British.
Okay. What would you put them?
You know why?
A tier?
I would give it... Yeah, I'd go A tier. And the vehicle crew for that one is B, because they both do very essential things.
Yes.
In regards to if you have a vehicle and getting it back up.
The
reason why I give the British one is it's more helpful with the British because your vehicles are going to actually survive. Yeah. Like, think about this. You're the Soviets. Yeah. Most of your armor is going to die rather quickly.
Well, that's being pessimistic.
I mean, let's be honest. Unless you have an ISU-152, that's like the heaviest thing, and the IS-2. Like,
some people like to repair their armor on the Soviet side.
A T-34 using that is going to be like one, like...
Well,
why?
You just count...
It's going to die anyway.
Or I'm going to bring up this. I'm just going to put an S tier.
Yeah, it's S tier. It's the most... like insane healing when you have this
because it benefits your whole team.
Benefits your whole team.
You're gonna see a running trend through this.
It's automatic. It's relatively cheap. It's like 125 munitions, or no, not munitions. 125 manpower and like 75 munitions. But dear God, you pump like 5 of these out and you can get a Churchill fixed in like a second. It's great. Like the biggest thing with the Soviets, and my biggest the biggest flaw with them is they take a while to hear their tanks.
Yeah.
But with this thing, oh my God, it's instantaneous.
It also
and that's how you beat the
could...
Germans. You get a KV and you just send it to the front line. It gets nearly killed. You bring it back. You heal it. So keep sending it back and forth. And the Germans are just like, I can't keep this up.
The smoke can obscure vision and block airstrikes and other things from being called down or hitting it while it's in play.
That's great.
Yeah.
It'll take 20 seconds and they can ground fire. That thing, you get your flamethrower KV back up, like if it's taken like half damage, healed in 3 seconds, send it back out, and the German can't even get his infantry back on the front before you have burning down half his line.
Now, we've been very positive about all those.
Yes.
What is the loser in all this?
Oh, the British one, of course.
And where would you put that?
D.
Yeah.
It used to be great.
Now, here's the problem with this. While it theoretically repairing vehicles and also emplacements would seem like a good thing, what is the problem with the British one?
Because it replaces something that is far more valuable.
Well, that...
And the British already have the upgraded engineers if you go like the Churchill Doctrine.
Yeah,
They can literally heal just as fast, if not faster, than the thing we placed in S tier. So, like, why, in God's given earth, would you actually go this, unless it's like...
Also, it's a lot of resources to build that for one repair crew.
Yeah, it's like, it's for an extra engineer. Why? It's insane. Unless you're like have 500 munitions and 1,000 manpower, which, let's be honest, a lot of British do.
Also,
don't get me wrong.
The repair crew sucks. It's not Like, I've tried to defend this thing. I really have.
Well, the base is weak. The problem is it has a large hitbox.
Yeah.
It has slow engineer heals.
And they die.
The Germans
very easily.
Let's be quite frank here. The Germans are very much known for their rocket artillery and their artillery in COH2. So, like, you park your unit next to this thing, and it's basically like, yes, you're basically putting a sign saying, hit here, please.
God, please hit me now. That's what you're doing.
Is that a Stuka bomb I hear on my base? Like, it's just a giant magnet. While the Soviet one, meanwhile, is comparatively way cheaper. You can they're smaller, and yes, they probably are, they have less health, but, like, you can space them out and make, like, any German player that has artillery, like, pull out their hair because they keep trying to murder these things and they just keep popping up like weeds. It's great.
So, all right. Moving on.
Yes.
We now have 3 buildings to cover.
Yes.
So we're actually going forward in placements. Note, I know the white phosphorus one, like I used earlier. We're going to use that for the Soviet airborne. Because I need to insert a picture into that because it wouldn't put in here.
Okay.
So we have that. We also have the forward base, the special building and ability for the British.
Uh-huh.
And we also have the Soviet retreat point. Now, out of all of these...
Uh-huh.
If I had to say which one is the best,
I
would say that the Soviet one is actually up there, and this building is a low on B. The reason I'd say this is the airborne one is actually, literally you place it, it's pretty cheap, and as long as you have the building upgrade, it's free. It's a free, it's not cost like the Ford assembly would. And the other base you can use early on and really just press your enemy. And it also does, you can also activate an ability to boost stuff around it for extra defense. Again, great. When the enemy gets artillery and can start blowing up stuff, that's an issue. The forward assembly is great because you give the Soviets a retreat point. And again, that's pretty damn good. Also, but the only negative is you have to call medical supplies. But hey, call in a friendly ambulance or something to heal it. The reason why this one specifically is lower is because you have to add it to a building or add to like the forward assembly, but it also comes in so much later that a lot of times people don't get it.
Yeah, have you ever played on a game where you're, let's say, versing the Soviets, and suddenly you find yourself facing down 4 players, and then they
with a lot of artillery.
No. You find yourself facing 4 allied players, and they have a building they can heal.
Yeah.
The reason why that's so impactful early game is because you can't do shit about it. You just have a base that is going to heal your enemies, and they are going to stay there and then use as a forward operating base to then murder you. It's one of the most like snowbally effects in COH2.
You can't counter it with mortars or flamethrowers
or machine guns.
This
is true. But my counterpoint is that the reason why
it's very expensive, fuel and manpower wise. It
is. But the reason why it's so impactful is because you
early
game where the enemy can't deal with it. The problem with waiting for later in the game for the British is that you have more time to develop the rocket artillery, more time to get like howitzer,
and they have all their abilities
guns,
unlocked
mortars.
By that point. They can call down Stuka bombs, air strikes, artillery strikes.
The tooth has been dulled on the effectiveness of this, and it's good as a retreat point. But wouldn't you rather get like the glider?
Well, it's not necessarily a retreat point. It's
the heal point. The heal point.
Well, it's but also move over to the British one specifically. It's unlocked late, and then also you have all those strikes, which are pretty good. But then as soon as the enemy realizes that base is there,
it's dead.
It's dead. Like there's not.
It has a normal house's health. It's not like boosted.
You have to hide that sucker, and that's if you're good at hiding buildings.
You have to hide a house, guys. You know how easy
the Soviet one's one step ahead because while it is counterable, it's very expensive.
Early enough.
It does have a manageable effect not only on yourself but your
manageable.
team.
It has a decisive effect if used properly. Whereas the other ones, they have to wait longer. Therefore, the opportunity to use them to the maximum effectiveness is minimized.
All right, that's a good thing to say. Now, let's move on and rely on some airborne call-ins. So I'm going to move all of them here. I'm not giving them F. Let's go by all the weapons you can possibly drop in this game in some way, shape, or form. I think that's all of them. But for all the weapons you can drop, how would you grade these?
Well, the fuel one I would give a solid A.
What is the problem? Although,
because it can get shot down.
There we go.
It's good early. Before you get if you're facing OKW and you get this stuff early, it can be very beneficial. But then the moment they get their flak base up, you're just like, well, there goes my ability. It is now useless.
I think that should also bring it down to a B. I think the fact that literally it can be stopped should bring it down.
Yeah, it really does get stopped. It's great it's great when you have like a surplus of this, and you can help your allies. You can help yourself.
Again, beneficial. Problem: hard counter by AA. AA will stop it immediately.
Really good when you're trying to like buff the British to get that early Churchill, and the enemy has a Panzer IV, and then they begin to cry.
They're like,
as it faces off.
They're like, how am I supposed to fight this thing?
Churchill doesn't care and just slaughters it. No, I would say that a B is probably a better place. It's very good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's expensive and it does get blocked halfway in the game.
Now the Dushka drop and the MG I think should be equal. I know the MG. 50,
I think 50 cal is later, but like they're both. The 50 cal is no laughing matter. That sucker will shred infantry.
And you can give it to your allies.
The Dushka is an A plus. The 50 cal is an A minus.
Yes.
Is the best way to describe it. The 50 cal is still good, and it does AP.
They both have armor-piercing rounds.
Yeah, well, the 50 cal though is natural.
Dushka has a better suppression rate, I would say.
Yeah, but the both of them are good. I would say the Dushka definitely has the edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they're both very good machine guns. The Germans will be running, and the Soviets and the Americans will be very happy whenever they can get a handle of them.
Okay. So what about the AT gun you could drop in?
AT gun,
it is still pretty cheap. It's again, all these are decruits. You have to remand them.
I think the major problem though with that is the fact that it's like what 3, 4.
It's a little later on.
It's a little later on, which is too late for when you, because usually 10-minute mark is when you want to get an AT gun.
Yes.
And most of the time with this, it feels like it comes like a smidge too late.
Yeah.
Like, I think if it was like a 1 or 2 under, I think it'd be fine.
But
where it is, I think it's a little too late for it. But it's still good. It's still, you get on the front line instantaneously. You have to man it with your troops, but it's still a good thing to call in.
Okay, so would you rather keep it at B?
I'd say B, yeah.
Okay, but here's the thing, though, about this. You can give it to your ally. So if your ally needs AT guns, you can drop it in for, like, a British forward base, and they can get the AT gun.
A Soviet will never argue with an AT gun from the sky.
So again, why it's up there. I do think you're right. Maybe it does come in a smidge too late, but it does help fill in a void. Let's say you go a path for the USF that doesn't allow you the AT gun or doesn't allow you the MG. That is true. You can use these to fill in the gaps. And I think this is probably the one I would argue with an A, but since I had an argument, I brought one down. You can keep this.
Okay.
Next up, let's go with this one. Now, this one's weird. They have, unless I'm mistaken, they have changed this to a howitzer.
Yes.
And a paratrooper squad. So you actually get a paratrooper squad here, and then also the howitzer,
which is a weird combo.
It is very weird. I think it requires a decent chunk of resources, and I would say, although the paratrooper squad, although a support squad, still very good because you still get like a bazooka team, or it's either Thompsons or LMGs, one of those two. You minus one of them because you get the bazooka, but
it's still good.
I would say it's a B. I say
it's very heavy on when the cost is that I know for sure.
Yeah.
The problem is for this thing is it's
like I would rather have just the paratrooper or just the AT. I don't like both because
they both are opposites. Like the AT gun, I guess you could obviously you can put an AT on the offensive.
Yeah.
But like you would want, usually when you have an ability, you want it to be very good at one thing. Look at our S tier. Our S tier is helpful to allies, helpful to yourself. Or basically it's like, does it boost my infantry? Yes. But it does do the best of its ability. Yes. That's why it's S tier. For Mother Russia, it makes your infantry basically destroy enemy infantry. It's probably the best in the game at that. S tier. Repairability, best in the game. S tier. Paratroopers and AT gun. Does it do anything better than anything else? Not really. It gives you both, which means it's worse at either being very aggressive or very defensive or like.
Yeah. By the way, there's 2 images I also couldn't get. We're going to cover that at the end. That'll be the British air, the base that comes in.
Yeah.
We'll cover it at the end because once again, it didn't want to take. So anyway, let's move on from that for right now. Let's go with the mines that are kind of scattered about. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. We forgot about this thing, which I think most people do. This thing drops weapons for your allies and also as a heal point. But my problem is, I don't know. I mean, like, it should theoretically be good because you can drop resources.
It's really good when you give it to your teammates.
Yes. And if they need weapons through doctrine. So I would say this is a solid B. The problem is the fact that
it doesn't have the easy access that the one we have at the beginning, the box.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the ease of access of that because your infantry has to go to it. It also slows down your infantry, if I'm not mistaken.
No, well, not really.
Doesn't it like move just like the engineers with the?
No, because you drop weapons from it. It literally pops out the side.
No, not the actual infantry, but when your infantry picks up the gun, it moves slower, doesn't it?
I don't believe so. Unless I'm mistaken.
Maybe I'm just thinking of the engineers, because that's the only time I see this.
The engineers upgrade would.
This used to be super
they have the weapon that the engineers would upgrade to, and that makes them slower.
That it used to be very popular, and now it's not. I'm guessing it's because it got nerfed, but I don't. It's kind of like I don't see this that often.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
It's the wet fart of COH2 again. What are you gonna do?
But yeah, even though it's not used option, I still give its potential very high in terms of being able to. Jesus Christ, cat, being able to heal, being able to reinforce, and being able to supply weapons. I still think it's
maybe it's just the commander this is attached to.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
really
probably
not
it.
Seeing. I really never see this thing. I don't, and it's really good. I don't understand why.
Maybe it's just in 1v1 and 2v2s more, and you don't play that.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I would rather keep an A because the potential's there. I think there's a lot of good bonuses, like a German half-track of such.
Cool.
So anyway, let's move on from that. We also have this ability, which drops in a bunch of random stuff. You get, mortar, AT gun, and some fuel, which, again, very, very weird.
Those that do everything are good. What is it? A jack of all trades is the master of none.
I mean, I guess
it's good if you need the stuff, but I doubt there's a situation where you're like, well, I need an AT gun, a mortar, and this. It's usually you just want one or two of the things.
Yeah.
So you're kind of wasting your efficiency. Therefore, why do you? It's like a call-in that it's okay. Yeah, I could use it, but it's not exactly what I need. You almost want it piecemeal and cheaper.
Yeah, I'll just keep it there.
I'd make no D because it's.
I wouldn't go that low. I think it's fine, but it could be better.
Okay.
Let's move on and add in some weapons.
Okay.
So these are all special weapons you can unlock for people that kind of get called in or deployed. Rear echelons get flamethrowers. You can upgrade your conscripts with PTRS rifles.
Yep.
You can upgrade conscripts with PPSHs or any unit with LMGs on the American side.
Yep.
That's all the weapons. Where would you set these?
Oh, well, I mean, going off the top, the flamethrower is just good.
A.
It's just so good.
Flamethrowers A.
Because it's like the rear echelon with the little not rockets, but grenade launcher.
Yeah.
It's never not good to upgrade them.
Yeah.
Because usually your engineers are always in support, and usually you're always on the attack. So what is the most common thing that the Americans have to deal with? MGs. Where do MGs naturally? What is the natural habitat of an MG? A building. What do the engineers have? Smoke. Smoke plus fire equals dead MG.
Yeah.
So it's just a good combo to have.
So a couple things.
Yeah.
I agree. If I've also put up there, PPSHs increased, they're very good in attack power. There's a reason why there was a time where there was a thing called Terminators on the field because of these freaking things.
Yep.
But if I had to go with the LMG, I would give it a B. It reduces maneuverability, and unfortunately, that makes the conscript squad a lot more.
Even the American.
The American squad a lot more vulnerable. Plus, you can no longer double up. You can only go one, and that means you have to give it to a bar bazooka. Either way, you're not using these things to where it's full potential anymore.
Yep.
And I don't think they're as valuable as they used to be.
Yeah, it's not as valuable.
They're still good.
I think the bars are cheaper.
Yeah.
And they're just because you can put two of them on them.
Yeah, that's.
And these you can only put one.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
You can still give the man another infantry equipment, but
I'm just saying it's. Why not get just two bars?
Yeah.
It's
still good.
It's good. You can get it.
Yeah.
We're not saying it's bad. It's just with all the other options available, it's compared to what it's compared to.
Yeah. So another one that is also PTOS rifles. Now I would give this a C.
100% agree.
Because they're very good against vehicles, but they're also the shittiest anti-tank weapon in the game. Compare that to a bazooka and a Panzerschreck. Even the fucking DPs, these things are by far the worst because they don't have any specials.
Yep.
They look with penals. Yes, you get satchels with them. You don't get satchels with this.
On conscripts, you get the AT grenade, which
is great,
which you have to upgrade anyway.
Yeah.
There is no there. This is sure if you're facing a German player that loves his armor.
Yes.
Yes, great. Use this. Boost your infantry. But otherwise. Your infantry is going to die because two squads get these things, that means you only have 4 squads to fight what is already with your weak infantry already now weakened against the German infantry, which is going to be upgraded to then fight your infantry with anti-infantry weapons.
Yeah.
You're just going to get slaughtered versus anything that isn't armored.
So, yeah, that's where I'd put it.
Yep.
Now we deal with mines. We have the cheap mines that could be
For
placed.
the Soviets, yep.
We also have the American mines that can be placed.
Do you want to add in the American ability to build mines as well?
Yes, we'll do that. And also, let's build tank traps while we're here, because I think that's...
it's all under the same thing.
Yeah, it's
the American one's actually a good transition, because it can build the barricade and such.
Yes. So, here's the thing about this.
Yes.
I think these mine variants that are like very cheap or very like useful, or like for the American one and the Soviet one specifically,
I think they're worthless. Yeah, they're pretty much like D's.
Well,
or
the
F's.
American, sorry, the Soviet one, like here, I would say kind of just like they're there. That I don't think really people care about them or use them all
They're
that
just
much.
bad compared, because like they do damage to light armor. Okay, or like they do like the tiniest little like notice. So why build them?
Yeah.
Like, it just takes time, and just put down a normal mine. It'll do way more damage, and it'll be way more useful.
Now, the American one of this ability for them to build stuff.
You can build the mine, you can build the barricade, and you can also build what is the emplacements. I'd put it as an A, because it gives your infantry
a lot.
You can build cover.
Yeah.
You can build mines, which is the... People don't realize how useful mines are.
I just covered a game where literally the Soviet placed one mine. They could have stopped 6 Panthers. 6! It's ridiculous how important these things are.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying giving the access... Yes, I understand Americans really use munitions, and a mine, quote-unquote, could be a bad, poor, use. But if you have extra munitions and you want to screw up a point, get some bunkers, get some of these. Plus, think of the doctrine this goes with is just priest. I mean, it's basically we hold a line and we blow up the enemy line. It's yes, doctrine specific, I realize. I just think this is a really good thing for a rifleman to have.
No, you're absolutely not wrong with that. Also, let's go with some other abilities with the British.
Do we want to go tank traps?
Oh, yeah, tank traps. Where would you put these?
Do you want to be honest?
Where would you put?
I don't want to put it there, but I think it's an F.
Yeah.
Because, like...
They have a purpose.
They have a purpose, but why? Like, you're never...
They're not
like,
great...
Okay, guys, fun story. Past. Memory time. You, in one of your first games of COH2, you've ever played, we were playing the beta, and you were playing on steps. We were in the north of the map. You picked the doctrine that had the
I sectioned the entire side off.
The entire north of steps, he sealed off with these. The entire north of steps. And do you know what happened? Shockingly, he lost that game. Do you want to know why? Because the enemy wasn't focused on him. The enemy was focused down south where the fuel was.
I mean, to be fair, that's mine competence, not really this ability.
The point is, for them to be used to their maximum effectiveness, which is to seal off an entire area, which you're never going to use.
They can also be very
The enemies basically have to have ignored you, and they can easily destroy these things.
Some cover, but
It's great. The Americans can just build this.
Yeah.
And it's just so much. It's just like, seal off that area. Done. Germans, fortifications.
Yeah.
It's good because it also benefits that. This, okay.
Maybe the concept of cover is better cover.
I can see a D.
Full squad.
But like,
yeah.
It's just no, you're never going to want it.
All right, so let's go on something you would possibly want. Radio. Passive ability, helps out your infantry and everything because you can realize what the enemy has. And problem is, again, it tells you once and then you're like, what?
It tells you once, but at least you know it's coming.
Yeah, that's your dumbass thing being like forgetting. But yeah.
For instance, if you get this and you get a sniper.
Oh, God.
It is so good because then you know.
Oh, the enemy has a sniper, huh? Okay.
Okay, duly noted. Now I can hide mine and wait for him to show his face.
Yes.
Like, there are great benefits. Or like when the enemy pulls up.
Hey, the enemy has a King Tiger. And
just to let you know.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be at 30 seconds before it hits the front, guys. Hurry up.
I like how we put 3 in S tier in rapid succession. We haven't put another one since. But
I can't think of any others that really go there though.
All right, let's see if there's anything else though.
Okay.
Let's go with some British abilities.
Okay.
Rapid fire. Counterattack. It only hits about 75% of the map. Still pretty good for taking out enemy artillery positions. Pretty cheap. Blocks off the building. I'll give it B tier.
Okay.
Nothing too out there.
Makes sense.
Let's see. you get the the British infantry section can build defenses, fortifications. Passive, not too shabby. Can help build.
When this used to be, when the emplacements were overpowered, this was S tier.
Yep.
Guaranteed. This was S tier. You cried every time you saw a British building a Bofor and you couldn't get to it in time. You knew if you tried, your infantry would just get slaughtered before you could hit the retreat button.
I think B's fine for it. I think it's just fine.
I would agree.
All right, increased defenses for fortifications.
See, it's good.
Fortifications are now not as useful, so buffing them more doesn't help. I mean, like, yes, it does for some things, but
it does, but it doesn't.
Yeah,
like, it's better.
Fortifications have lost relevance, unfortunately.
Like, remember the repairability? You just press the button and
yeah,
that was good because the enemy mortars would be hitting your thing for like 10 minutes, and you'd be like laughing the entire time, like you're never gonna get this. At this point, you're just adding extra health, so if mortars are hitting it, it's still gonna die. You still need to heal it.
What about replacing your conscripts or like troops that you lost?
I'm putting this one to you because I have rarely used this.
I mean, theoretically, it's good for when you lose a bunch of units in a rapid succession. You can get them back.
Yeah.
So honestly, it's situational. I'll give it a B.
Okay.
Now let's go with command ability. So you can actually make a vehicle give recon and also slightly boost stuff around.
Used to be S tier because.
Go ahead.
Again, this used to be S tier when you could put it on your universal carrier.
Yes.
It is no longer the case, so I would say that probably B or A.
Okay. So you B or A?
Because free recon is still good recon.
Okay.
Like you use recon twice, still great.
But it does limit the attack and now cost resources for the plane.
So put it on like if you have like an early car, it kind of
So
works.
yeah,
I guess it's more limited. More situational. B, I'd say.
Okay, we have a lot of Bs. Although B is like in the middle.
B is still good.
Yeah.
B is good. C is average. Or like something you're like okay with.
Yeah, or something very specialized. Raid operations. We got normal and we got smoke. Where do we put it?
Smoke is obviously better.
The raid. Oh yes, the smoke raid, but doesn't come with vehicles. Actually, well, but the thing is about the vehicle one, you can go in and decap territories quickly. The problem is it's hard to follow up with something on that.
Yeah.
Because you could stop the enemy from building emplacements, but there isn't an encirclement doctrine for the Allies. Which, if you figure how many times the Allies have encircled the Germans,
yeah,
you figure that there would be something.
There was this event called Stalingrad.
Operation Compass.
Yeah.
Well, no. I mean, like, Stalingrad, yes, but if we're talking about the Allies, is in the British and the Americans.
Yeah.
Operation Compass. Yeah. You have literally encircling an entire German army in Germany. You have an encircling of multiple armies in France. You have encirclings of...
Let's just say the Allies know how to encircle. So why is there anything equivalent to that?
Yeah. Anyway, so next up we have the this ability, which I am forgetting offhand, and I'm quickly going over to search. Right, this is support tactics. This is just rapid capture. Rapid capture! And I'll just keep it there.
There's nothing to follow up on it.
Yeah.
Unless you're like trying to get a point before you lose the game. That's really the only... It's situational, but it's bad kind of situational because it only happens when you're losing.
What about your infantry getting a flare ability? It's good recon. I'll give it a C.
It's an average. It's A.
All right.
You're
So,
like, not mad when you use it, but you're not going to be actively trying to use it.
yeah. So so I think that's it in terms of all the special abilities.
Yep.
No, we don't have special infantry like guards troops or something. We may do something with those later.
No, I will say, looking back on all of these,
yes.
I think the ones that could be S tier are
yes.
the American infantry, like the mines, the barricades, like that ability, and radio, because those two are very good.
Okay, well I agree with radio.
Because information is key.
Yes.
And it's better than the last time we said, oh, you can see items on the map. This is far better because you know exactly what the enemy's saying. You don't know where it is, but you know it's coming.
All right, so I'll put radio there. And then, honestly, I mean, if we're looking at the rest of these, probably the only other thing I could think of that is, like, super, like, you gotta have it.
Yeah.
Would be something along the lines of, maybe this for mines.
I would say, because, again,
it's S minus.
Riflemen.
Yes.
Riflemen building those things, having the ability is insane, especially building heavy cover.
Yeah.
You have some riflemen on the defense. And the Germans are even a little bit scared of that. So
yeah, okay, I'll give you that. Now, the last thing I couldn't get an image for was the British forward glider, specifically for the airland officer, which is about to be like, that's the thing about that thing. The airland officer is going to be removed. You get a commando unit, and essentially it's now a forward base. In this, we're counting it as a thing where you get an airland officer, you get commandos, you get that. Technically, you get a forward base, theoretically. And then also you have to deploy medics to heal, where in the future you'll automatically get medics. Yeah, I think A is fine.
Just chuck it at A. It's just good. You get a great unit. You get a forward glider. You get a glider. The glider just looks cool.
Sometimes it gets overcomplicated though with that thing. It is just over
designed.
Yeah, the amount of stuff it has. I think them changing it up and kind of moving the airland officer, just having commandos and just fixing it as a command point.
Kind of streamlining.
I think that's a lot better. But anyway, that's our thoughts of all these special call-in abilities dealing with infantry and weapons. What do you think? Put down the comments down below.
How wrong were we? Why are tank traps on the Soviets so good?
We tried to include everything that wasn't an airstrike or destructive ability in that case. A lot of these are bonuses for infantry weapons. And hey, I think we made a good list.
Again, we also come from a 3v3 and 4v4 perspective. So if tank traps are the meta in 1v1s,
we would
not our priority.
But in any case, guys, it's been Greyshot17
and Greyshot151,
ruining pretty much
all these commander abilities. Yep. And we'll see you next time where we do the same thing with the Germans.
Yeah, can't wait. That's going to be interesting. Stuka Bomb, F tier. We'll see you next time.
See you next time, guys.
Hello, everyone. This is Greyshot. Before I go, I want to give a special shout out to Patreon supporters Josh, Milam, Joey G240, Just Thomas Plays, Spartycus, Rifle, JrChicklis, Pyroshark, Ion, Ollie, Ace, GTA, and Jakub Oswai. Thank you all for your incredible support. This has been Greyshot17 and his amazing patrons, and I'll see you all next time.